Sai Ram. Now we are in the part 6 video of how to create an edit form of a specific information. So far we have completed up the fully load function part and the PHP also generated. So for whatever the video has seen, okay. Now we are in the save procedure. Now actually in the save procedure, we need to generate the save button procedures. So that we are going to see now, okay. So let me go to the employee grid form. Employee edit form. Under that, we have gone to the button save procedure. Okay. Here, the few changes are required. The first and foremost change is the add tag should be made false because this is not add tag. It is going to be a edit tag. So that means it is not going to be add information. It is going to be edit information. That means add tag is false, right? Then you need to check with the path. Obviously, there is no difference between the add path and edit path. Both are same because the initial is same. Okay. And both are going to be additive. And the main tag. So, and obviously the main tag has to be changed. That you need to check up with the your table. Primary information where the tag names are there, that you need to check up and update here in the main tag. And finally, what should happen once you save the information? What should be the next form to be opened? Okay, that's what given in the algorithm here also. So in the algorithm, what happens once the button save is completed, it need to open the grid form. That's the requirement. The employee grid form should be open. So it has to go to the grid. Once you save the information, it has to go to the grid so that you can either create a new employee or you can edit the other employee, whatever the work you want to, you can take a call. I mean, you are coming back to the main menu, okay, so that you can carry on with the different task. I mean, the user can carry on with a different task. Okay. So that's the purpose of this particular function. Okay. What is this function? Let me complete that one first. So this function is in the include file. Okay. That is in the include file. So very simple. You need to copy this back function, put it here, rename as whatever the name specified, and the employee grid has to be referred here. Okay. That's it. The hyperreference is employee grid.php. Once this is done, if you once save is completed, this particular function will be called and automatically the employee grid will open. That's it. Okay. Now we will go back to the save procedure and we will start exploring that one. Okay. So this is completed. Now come down. So tag name details are here. So the employee name, address, all information, tag informations are given, whatever the tag are required, and the corresponding objects. So txt employee name, txt address, all the objects are specified. So the very important thing is the Boolean, that is checkbox. So here the HDCBX is required because that is the value in which once a checkbox is clicked, okay, when the value of the checkbox is changed, the HDCABX value is also changed, okay, and so that value is stored in the particular tag name, okay, as per the CBX, I mean checkbox is concerned. Similarly, join date again, it is again taken from the date, and similarly for the drop down again. Department ID is a hidden, that we are always using hidden for the save procedure. Let us also, we should make it very clear. Let it be checkbox, let it be drop down. We will be always using the hidden part in the save procedure. Okay. And only in the assign object, we need to have duplicate of DDL as well as the hidden, or checkbox as well as the hidden checkbox. But as per this save procedure is concerned, it is going to be only the tag name, department ID, or whatever. So whatever the value stored in the hidden is sufficient for the drop down or the checkbox to be updated. Okay. So with that, this is done. And the EMP is employee ID is a hidden object, so it doesn't need any prefix. So that is stored in the employee ID. So all the information is updated as per the parent table is concerned. Now we will come to the subtag true. So subtag is to be true, and the subtag name, it has to be decided. Now, what is the subtag going to be? The subtag going to be object name plus sub update. So it is going to be something like object name plus underscore sub update. Let me explain here. So it is going to be like this: object name underscore sub update. This is mandatory, like this is going to be a mandatory value. The underscore sub update is, and the first part is going to be object name. So object name of the child table. Okay, object name of the child table. This has to be taken into consideration. Once that is done, so object name followed by underscore sub update. That's going to be the subtag, and the table control name need to be specified in which the data is stored, and the corresponding delete button also need to be specified. Okay. So all this information is done. Then come down, give the tag details. So tag XML command, whatever the tag name that you need to specify. So generally the tag name and the tag XML CMD is going to be same. Only the object name will vary, depends upon the necessity of the type of the object. Okay. So here, so the status description, status date, HTS completed. This is because a checkbox. Okay. And employee ID and status ID. Now here there is something called primary key and parent key. Now this is very important. See, the employee ID is a parent key. Parent key for the status table. Okay. Because employee ID is the parent ID and status ID is the primary ID. So that you need to make it true. So the parent ID is made true as because in the employee ID, and in the status ID, the primary ID is made true because that is a primary key. Okay. Of course, there is a small mistake here. It should be int. Okay. This should be int. Okay. So both are int. This is Boolean. Okay. And one more thing, one more important thing, tag value is specified 1. Okay, why this is made 1? Okay. Before going into this, let us check whether employee ID hidden is created. Okay. Whether employee ID hidden is created in the table control. To be frank, the employee ID hidden is not created in the table control. I mean, we can check that. I'll go to the table control. So the only one hidden created is the status ID. Okay, only one hidden created is the status ID. Okay, that status ID need to be created. Why? Because this status ID is the primary key which need to be kept as a hidden. Okay, and this will be this is another change. Okay, another change in the table control of the edit form, where you need to keep the hidden value, primary value as a hidden object. Okay. In some cases, the primary key can be displayed based on the requirement. If some case the user want to see the information, see the key generated, primary key generated, then you can put it as a column, then hidden is not required. Okay. If the primary key need not be displayed, okay, then it is always advisable to the user, we will not show the unnecessary information unless he want it. Okay. So in that case, status ID is going to be unnecessary information for the user, so that we have kept as a hidden. Okay. And you need to change once the status ID you added as a hidden. See, 3 changes are required. One is you need to make the additional hidden as a true, add the hidden name here. Okay. So once the new hidden name is incorporated, then the order count becomes 4, right? So it becomes 4. These 3 changes are required to be done if in the child table, okay, this you should have it in a mind. In a child table, these 3 changes has to be done. And this is getting reflected in the save procedure. Okay, now this is not only reflected in the save procedure, it is also reflected in the assign object. In the assign object also, status ID is used to assign the status information, status ID information, correct? You could check up that one. In the assign object, okay? See, status ID is used, where the status ID from the API is stored in the hidden status ID, which is created here, okay? So that information is important here, okay, fine. Now we'll go back to the save procedure. Okay. So, right. So the status ID. So again, we actually went there to check whether employee ID is there or not. But employee ID is not there. So what do you mean by this one stands for? Tag value. See, like you want, it is actually specified as tag value property. See, tag value property, what it says. 1 means main object, no increment. 0 means column object with increment. Okay. So the employee ID here refers to the main information that is taken from the main form information. So it doesn't need a requirement increment. What do you mean by the increment? Increment you are already familiar with. Okay. Let me show that again. So what is increment? So what the increment here mean is, I'm just inspecting. Okay, fine. Once I click on the inspect, so that status description is there. It has an increment value of 13. Okay. And there are hiddens available. So status ID is kept as a hidden and it also has the increment 13. Whereas if you check with the previous object, like the previous row, if you inspect that one, you could see status where the increment is 12. So the increment here is the row identity. Each row will have an identity like 12, 13, 14, like the number of, as the number of rows increase, the identity also will increase. That's what we call increment. But employee ID cannot have increment because the employee ID is going to be 1. The 32, whatever the value 32 is getting stored as an employee ID in the form, and you cannot have multiple 32s or multiple employee ID because this particular employee is going to be a unique information and that's going to be the primary key. So that cannot have duplicate values. Okay. So what we need to do is, see, the very purpose we came here to identify that the employee ID is a unique value. Generally the parent key, okay? Generally the parent key need to be the tag value property as 1. Why? Because it is not a basic row property. It is a main from property that we should. Only the row property will have the increment. Okay. The main form variables, the main form variables will not have increment. In that case, a tag value property should be made 1. That's it. If you make this one, the whole things are done. The save procedure is completed. You can start executing it. So you could see that it is working fine. Okay, fine. With that, this particular video is over. Once this is completed, you can generate that one, generate the PHP and put it in the server, FTP server. It should be working. Fine. So we'll see you in the next video.